Once upon a time, in a sunny forest full of tall trees and cheerful birds, there lived a clever fox. He had bright orange fur, a bushy tail, and eyes that sparkled with mischief. This fox loved two things more than anything else: tricks and tasty food. One warm morning, as the fox was strolling through the woods, his nose caught a delicious smell floating through the air. "Something smells yummy," he sniffed, licking his lips. He followed the scent until he came to a tall tree. And what did he see? Sitting proudly on a high branch was a shiny black crow. But that's not all. The crow had a big, juicy piece of cheese in her beak. "Oh ho! That looks tasty," thought the fox, his stomach rumbling. "But how do I get it?" The crow sat happily, ready to enjoy her breakfast. But the clever fox had a plan. He stood below the tree and called up in his smooth, sweet voice. "Good morning, beautiful crow. How shiny your feathers are. And your eyes, so bright. Why, you must be the queen of all birds." The crow blinked and tilted her head. No one had ever called her a queen before. The fox went on, "Such beauty must come with a lovely voice. Surely your song is just as wonderful as your looks. Won't you sing for me, O graceful one?" Now, the crow was flattered. She puffed up her feathers and felt proud. "He thinks I'm beautiful. And he wants to hear me sing. Of course I will." Forgetting all about the cheese in her beak, the crow opened her mouth and let out a loud caw. Caw. Oh! The moment she opened her beak, the cheese fell right down to the ground. The fox caught it quickly and gobbled it up in one big bite. "Yum! Just as tasty as I thought," he said with a grin. The poor crow looked down, shocked and sad. "Oh no! My cheese!" The fox chuckled and said, "Dear crow, you do have a voice, but next time, don't let flattery steal your food." And with that, he trotted away into the forest, his tail swishing happily behind him. From that day on, the crow remembered the fox's trick. And whenever someone praised her too much, she smiled and held her beak tightly shut. Don't be fooled by flattery. Be wise and stay alert. One sunny afternoon, a mighty lion lay peacefully in front of his cave, enjoying the warmth of the savannah. He was taking a nap, not a care in the world. But suddenly, a tiny mosquito flew close to him. It buzzed loudly, disturbing the quiet air around the lion. Feeling bothered, the lion woke up and growled, "Go away, little insect." He swiped at the mosquito with his big paw, trying to get rid of it. But the mosquito wasn't scared at all. The mosquito, with a cheeky voice, said, "Do you think I'm afraid of you just because you are the king?" With that, she darted forward and stung the lion right on the nose. The lion was angry and swiped at her again and again with his powerful paws, but the mosquito was too quick. She flew around, stinging him wherever she liked. The lion roared in frustration, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't catch the tiny mosquito. Finally, the lion gave up, exhausted and covered in little scratches. "Alright, you win," he admitted. The mosquito buzzed happily, proud of herself. "You call yourself a king, but now all the animals will laugh at you," she said, and flew off to tell everyone how she had defeated the mighty lion. But just as the mosquito flew happily to spread the news, she didn't notice a spider's web in her path. She got stuck in the web and struggled to escape, but it was too late. The tiny spider quickly caught her, and the mosquito became its dinner. And so, the mosquito learned that even the smallest enemies can be dangerous, and pride can lead to trouble. The moral of the story is that we should never underestimate anyone, no matter how small they are. And even when we win, we must stay humble and careful, because pride can make us forget about the dangers around us. Once upon a time, there was a big, quiet village in the middle of a beautiful forest. The people who lived there had long ago left, and now, the forest was taking over. Plants grew around the broken houses, and trees pushed through the cracked roads. In this village, a family of mice lived happily. There were little mice in the walls and under the floors, and they loved their peaceful home. Not far from the village, there was a sparkling lake where the animals went to drink. Every day, a herd of elephants would walk to the lake to drink and cool off. They were big and strong, with shiny tusks and long trunks. But to reach the lake, the elephants had to walk through the mice's village. The huge elephants' feet crushed the mice's homes, and the little mice would run away in fear. It made them sad to see their houses destroyed. They gathered together and went to their leader, the prince of the mice, for help. "What will we do if the elephants come again?" they asked. The prince of the mice stood up tall and said, "Don't worry. I will talk to the queen of the elephants." The prince bravely went to the lake where the elephants were drinking. He climbed high into a tree to speak to the queen. The queen of the elephants looked at the tiny mouse with surprise. "What can I do for you, little mouse?" she asked kindly. The prince said, "When you walk through our village, you hurt our homes and scare our families. Could you please find another way to the lake? We promise to be your friends and help you if you ever need us." The queen of the elephants laughed. "How can tiny mice like you help us?" she said. "But because you are brave, I will listen to you. I promise we will find a new path to the lake." The prince of the mice smiled, thanked the queen, and hurried back to the village. The mice worked together to rebuild their homes, and the elephants kept their promise. They no longer walked through the village. One day, trouble came. The elephants were trapped in hunters' nets. Many of the elephants, including the queen, were caught. Only one young elephant escaped and ran to the village. "Please help. The elephants are trapped," he cried. The prince of the mice remembered the promise and quickly called the other mice. "Our friends need us," he said. Together, the mice worked quickly and used their sharp teeth to chew through the nets. Soon, the elephants were free. The queen of the elephants was amazed. "I never knew such tiny creatures could do so much," she said. "Though you are small, you are mighty. Thank you, dear mice, for saving us." From that day on, the elephants and the mice became the best of friends, living in peace and harmony. Once upon a time, there was a playful little dog named Max. Max loved running around, exploring, and especially finding treats. One sunny day, he discovered a juicy, delicious bone in his backyard. Thrilled, Max grabbed the bone in his mouth and set off in search of a perfect spot to enjoy his tasty prize. Max trotted through fields until he reached a sparkling river nearby. As he peered into the water, he was amazed to see another dog holding a bone. "That bone looks even bigger than mine," Max thought, his eyes widening with excitement. He didn't realize he was looking at his own reflection in the river. Without thinking, Max decided he wanted the other dog's bone too. He opened his mouth to bark, but as soon as he did, his bone fell into the river with a splash. He watched in shock as his treat sank to the bottom, and the other dog vanished too. Max was left with nothing. Max felt disappointed as he realized what had happened. "I was so greedy that I lost my own bone," he thought sadly. With a heavy heart, Max walked back home, understanding the value of being happy with what he had. From that day on, whenever Max found a treat, he enjoyed it with gratitude and never forgot the lesson the river had taught him. And so, Max lived happily, a bit wiser, knowing that true happiness comes from appreciating what you have. Once upon a time, in a lush African savanna, there lived a little rabbit named Tammy. She was small, with soft brown fur that shone in the sunlight. Though she wasn't the biggest animal in the savanna, she had a heart full of kindness and wisdom. Tammy lived near the great baobab tree, the tallest and oldest tree in the savanna. Animals from all over would visit it, seeking its wise advice. One hot afternoon, while munching near the tree, Tammy noticed something strange. The mighty baobab tree, which was usually strong and proud, looked sad. Its leaves were turning brown, and its branches drooped sadly. Tammy's heart filled with worry. Tammy hopped over to the tree and gently asked, "Great Baobab, why do you look so sad?" The Baobab tree sighed deeply. "I am old and thirsty, little one. The rains have not come, and I fear I will not survive much longer without water." Tammy felt a deep sadness for the tree. It had always been there to offer wisdom to everyone. "Don't worry, Great Baobab," Tammy said boldly. "I will find you water, no matter how far I have to go." Despite her small size, Tammy was determined to help her friend. Tammy set off across the savannah, asking every animal she met if they knew where she could find water. First, she asked the elephants. But they had already used up their water for the day. Next, she asked the gazelles. They only knew of tiny puddles, not nearly enough to help the baobab tree. Tammy felt a little discouraged, but she didn't give up. Just then, Tammy met Kibbo, the wise old tortoise. Kibbo had traveled far and wide and knew many secrets of the land. "Kibbo, do you know where I can find water for the baobab tree?" Tammy asked. Kibbo smiled kindly at her. "Yes, little one, but the journey will be hard. You must travel to the mountains where a magical spring flows beneath a rock shaped like a lion. Just a little water from that spring can quench a mighty thirst." Tammy thanked Kibbo and set off towards the mountains, ready for her long adventure. The journey was difficult. Tammy climbed steep hills, crossed dry riverbeds, and braved the hot sun. She was tired, but she never gave up. After many days of travel, Tammy finally reached the mountains. There, she found the rock shaped like a lion. Beneath it, a sparkling spring flowed, clear and cool. Tammy filled her small pouch with as much water as she could carry and began the long journey back home. When Tammy finally returned to the baobab tree, she was exhausted, but she smiled. She poured the water onto the tree's roots, and as the baobab tree drank, it sighed with relief. "Thank you, brave Tammy," it said. "You have saved me." Tammy watched as the tree's leaves turned green again and its branches lifted high into the sky. The animals of the savannah gathered around, cheering for her. The baobab tree, in gratitude, shared its wisdom with Tammy. From that day on, she became known as the wisest creature in the forest. Tammy was a hero, not because of her size or strength, but because of her courage, kindness, and determination to help a friend in need. Once upon a time, near a sparkling blue lake, there lived a talkative turtle named Togo. Togo loved to talk. He talked to the birds, the bugs, the breeze, even to himself. From morning till night, he never stopped chatting. One day, two geese flew down to rest by the lake. Their names were Gino and Gabby. They were gentle and wise, and they loved peace and quiet. But they didn't get much of that with Togo around. "Hi. I'm Togo. Do you like fish? I saw a frog jump today. Wanna hear a story? I know 100. The geese blinked. Gino whispered to Gabby, "He's friendly, but he sure does talk a lot." Days passed, and the geese grew fond of Togo despite all the chatter. But then, the weather began to change. "We must fly to a new lake," said Gino. "This one will soon dry up." Togo looked sad. "I'll miss you both so much." Gabby paused. "Why don't you come with us?" Togo's eyes lit up. "Really? I've always wanted to see the world. I can fly, well, I can't, but maybe I can hang on to your tails or—" "Wait," said Gino, smiling. "We have an idea. We'll carry a stick between our beaks, and you can hold on to it with your mouth. But," warned Gabby, "you must not talk while we fly. If you open your mouth, you'll fall." Togo nodded. "I can do that. I'll be silent. Quiet as a pebble. Not a word." Zip. The next morning, they took off. The geese held a stick between their beaks, and Togo bit down firmly in the center. Up, up, up they soared into the sky. Togo's eyes widened as he saw the forests, rivers, and hills below. It was amazing. People in a village below looked up and pointed. "Look at that flying turtle. What a strange sight." Togo wanted to say, "That's me. I'm flying." But he remembered, he must stay quiet. Then a group of children shouted, "That turtle looks silly." Togo's cheeks puffed up. He wanted to shout back, "I'm not silly." But he held tight. Then he heard laughter. A turtle in the sky. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Togo couldn't take it anymore. He opened his mouth and yelled, "I'm not funniest." But the moment he opened his mouth, he let go of the stick. And down he fell, tumbling through the air. Luckily, he landed in a soft haystack. The villagers rushed over. Togo shook his head and looked up at the sky. The geese circled back and landed gently nearby. "Togo," said Gabby kindly, "we told you not to speak." "I know," groaned Togo. "I just couldn't help myself." Gino smiled. "You're safe, that's what matters. But now you've learned, sometimes, silence is the smartest thing to say." Togo nodded slowly. For once, he didn't say a word. From that day on, Togo still talked, but he also learned when to listen. Think before you speak, and sometimes, staying quiet is the wisest choice of all. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived an old donkey. He had worked for his master for many years, carrying sacks, pulling carts, and helping with farm chores. But now, the donkey had grown tired and slow. His master didn't need him anymore. One day, the donkey overheard his master saying, "This donkey is too old. I don't want to feed him anymore." That scared the poor donkey. "If I stay, I'll be in trouble," he thought. So, he trotted off down the road, ears flopping, tail swishing. "But I'm not useless," he said to himself. "I'll go to Bremen and become a town musician. I'll bray songs and people will cheer." As he trotted along the road, he met a sad old dog lying under a tree. "Why so glum, friend?" asked the donkey. "I'm too old to hunt," sighed the dog. "My master wants to get rid of me." "Well then," said the donkey, "come with me to Bremen. We'll be musicians. You can bark the beat, and I'll sing the melody." The dog's eyes lit up. Bremen? Sounds better than staying here. So off they went, down the dusty road. Soon, they met a skinny old cat sitting on a fence, looking gloomy. "What's wrong, kitty?" asked the donkey. "I'm too old to chase mice," said the cat. "They say I'm no good anymore." "Then come with us to Bremen," barked the dog. "You can sing along, meow in harmony." The cat's whiskers twitched. "Why not? I've never been to Bremen." Now the trio marched on, laughing and dreaming of songs they'd sing. Later, they heard a strange noise coming from a nearby farm. It was a rooster crowing with all his might. "You seem excited," said the donkey. "Not really," said the rooster. "Tomorrow, they plan to cook me for soup." "Soup?" cried the cat. "You'd better come with us," said the dog. "Bremen needs a singing rooster." "Me? A singer?" The rooster flapped his wings. "Yes. Let's go." Now the band was complete, donkey, dog, cat, and rooster, marching to Bremen with joy in their hearts. As night fell, they grew tired and hungry. They spotted a light in the woods. "A house," said the rooster, flying up to a tree. "There are people inside," he said. "But they look scary, like robbers." "Robbers?" whispered the donkey. "I have an idea," said the dog, and they all huddled together. They climbed on each other's backs, donkey on bottom, and rooster on top. 1, 2, 3, they burst through the window shouting, wildly, loudly, chaotically, recklessly. The robbers screamed in fright and ran into the woods, thinking a monster had attacked. The animals laughed and danced around the room. We did it. They ate warm soup, sat by the fire, and made music late into the night. They never made it to Bremen, because they liked their new home just fine. Even if you're old or cast aside, you can still do great things, especially with good friends by your side. Once upon a time, in a hot, sunny jungle, lived two very different but very best friends, Hyena and Tortoise. The jungle was wide and green, filled with tall trees and chirping birds. One afternoon, the two friends were talking under a shady tree. "I'm the strongest animal in the jungle," boasted Hyena, puffing out his chest. Tortoise chuckled and said, "Well, strength isn't everything, my friend. Let me show you something special." And just like that, he tucked into his shell, rolled down the hill like a spinning ball, and disappeared from sight. Hyena blinked in surprise. "Hey! Where did you go?" he shouted, running after him. But Tortoise was already gone. Hyena growled and stomped his feet. "I'll show him who's best." As he marched through the jungle, he didn't see a big tree root sticking out from the ground. He tripped, tumbled forward, and fell right into a muddy watering hole. As Hyena splashed around, trying to stand up, a scary voice came from the water. "What do we have here?" It was a crocodile. With big eyes and even bigger teeth. "Looks like lunch has come to visit," the crocodile chuckled. Hyena's eyes went wide with fear. He forgot all about being angry. He had to think fast. Hyena's eyes darted around. The crocodile was getting closer. Just then, Hyena had a silly idea. He threw his head back and laughed so loudly and wildly, the whole jungle could hear it. The crocodile blinked, puzzled. "Why are you laughing like that?" he asked with a frown. Through his giggles, Hyena said, "Oh, Mr. Crocodile. You made me laugh so much. I was just telling my friend Tortoise the funniest joke, and when I saw your big smile, I slipped and fell in. You're hilarious." The crocodile scratched his head. He thought he was scary, not funny. But now he was so confused, he forgot he was hungry. "Well, okay then. I guess I'll let you go. But next time, no splashing." Hyena nodded quickly and jumped out of the water with a splash, still chuckling all the way. Hyena scrambled out of the water, still laughing, and ran deep into the jungle. His heart was racing, but he was safe. From that day on, everyone in the jungle remembered how Hyena's laugh saved him from the crocodile. And that's why, even today, hyenas are known for their loud, funny laughter echoing through the wild. Once upon a time, in a beautiful forest by a flowing river, there lived a clever little monkey. Every day, he swung from tree to tree, enjoying the delicious fruits on the riverbank. But little did he know, an adventure with a tricky crocodile was waiting for him.
Join Kids Hut Stories.
One sunny morning, a crocodile swam up to the tree where the monkey was eating juicy mangoes. "Hello, little monkey," called the crocodile with a friendly smile. "Those fruits look tasty. Would you share one with me?" The monkey, kind and generous, threw a mango to the crocodile. This small act of kindness started a unique friendship. Every day, the monkey would share a fruit, and the crocodile would enjoy a tasty snack while they chatted about life. One day, the crocodile's wife heard about his new friend, the monkey. She had a greedy thought. "If the monkey eats sweet fruits every day," she said, "then his heart must be the sweetest thing of all. Bring me the monkey's heart as a special treat." The crocodile was shocked, but he loved his wife and wanted to please her. So, with a heavy heart, he decided to trick his friend into coming to his home. The next day, the crocodile invited the monkey to his house across the river. "You'll love it there. We have even more delicious fruits than these," he said with a smile, hiding his true plan. The monkey, curious and trusting, agreed. But since he couldn't swim, he hopped onto the crocodile's back to cross the river. As they reached the middle of the river, the crocodile couldn't hold in his plan any longer. "Dear friend," he said, "I have to be honest. My wife wants to eat your heart because it must be so sweet from all the fruits you eat." The monkey was shocked but quickly came up with a clever idea. "Oh, my friend," he replied. "If only you had told me sooner. I left my heart up in the tree. We'll have to go back and get it." The crocodile believed him and turned around, swimming back to the tree. The moment they reached the shore, the monkey leapt off the crocodile's back and climbed high into his tree. "You tricked me, and now I know you are not a true friend," he said. The crocodile realized his mistake and felt ashamed. He returned to the river, learning that being greedy can ruin friendships. True friends are trustworthy. Greed and dishonesty can harm relationships and leave us feeling lonely. And that's the story of the clever monkey and the crocodile. This tale reminds us that honesty and kindness make the strongest friendships, while greed only brings trouble. If you liked the story, share this with your friends and family, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting stories that teach us valuable life lessons.